And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 644. Today is Wednesday, January 20th, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday. And today's top stories: Enjin Coin surges 71% after becoming first regulatory approved gaming token in Japan. Bitcoin node count hits new all-time high. Crypto winter: Bitcoiners use mining rigs as heaters as temperatures drop. Privacy-focused Firo cryptocurrency suffers 51% attack. Janet Yellen says cryptocurrencies are a concern in terrorist financing. And last but not least, Rick and Morty crypto art sells for $150,000 on Gemini on platform. So a lot of good news and more. But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and check out these prices. See if I can pull this up here. Boom. There it is. Bitcoin's coming in hot. $35,021, down 5.55%. And for those who've actually been watching the price throughout the last 24 hours, you know it's already bounced back. It dropped down on some exchanges as low as 33.8, 33.9, 34,000. And of course, bounced right back up. Ethereum, right? Good time to buy the dip. We were talking about that, not going crazy, purchasing at that all-time high. Wouldn't have been a crazy haircut, but definitely would have been a haircut. From yesterday, Ethereum's coming in at $1,318.12, down 5.9%. Stellar is at 28 cents, down 7.72%. Ripple is at 28 cents, down 4.67%. Chainlink's at $20, down 6.45%, even though it was just at like $16 or $17 the other day. So still looking good. Cardano is still low-key pumping. Is at 35 cents, down 5.08%. But again, they've been on a non-stop pump as well. So healthy retracement all across the market. It's bleeding red. I mean, literally as you go down, everything with the cred, everything for the most part is red. Augur, haven't seen that name in a while. Hilarious. Lisk, haven't seen that name in a while either. But this is normal behavior. Right now we have been in a sideways movement. And luckily, it might not be a long sideways movement, right? We've only been seeing it for a week or so since our last pump. Don't get too crazy. Remember, we hit $42,000, I believe, what was it, the first week into January. So again, this is all healthy. This is good. We're in good tracking. We're good tracking, good pacing for the next big wall. What's going on? Justin Redrick, Bitcoin Vegan. Make sure you check him out. Crypto Q, Madam Crypto, Leroy Forbes, Somo Vid. What's going on? Howdy from Texas. Lisa Lee, Tommy Brown, Kevin Jarvis, Erica K. Hello, hello, hello. Make sure we go ahead and smash that like and share. All right. Top story of the day. Enjin Coin surges 71% after becoming first regulatory approved gaming token in Japan. The asset recently received the blessing of the Japanese Virtual Currency Exchange Association, as you see here on this Cointelegraph article. And again, awesome artwork by Cointelegraph. They always bring it in. The old school PS4 remotes, I guess we can say now. But it looks like on January 19, blockchain-based Enjin Coin became the first gaming cryptocurrency to be legally authorized for trade by the Japanese Virtual Currency Exchange Association, or the JVCEA. I'm assuming we're going to hear a lot more of them about them. This coincided with a sudden 71% increase to the coin's dollar value, which occurred within just 9 hours and saw the ENJ coin price jump from 23 cents up to a 3-year high of 40 cents. So crazy, right? But what's more important about this isn't necessarily just Enjin Coin itself. I mean, this is really cool for the Japanese market as well as the crypto market in general. For those who don't know, Enjin Coin they're saying, will become the first gaming token listed on CoinCheck, one of 15 digital currencies. And Enjin was an inroad to the Japanese market, basically to accelerate gaming in the crypto market. Again, Enjin made a bold commitment entering the Japanese market in 2019, determined to grow their business in the space regardless of market conditions. And again, it talks about the approval. I think this is big news, not just because of gaming and cryptocurrency. We talked about that here many times before, that being big news. But I think this is an example of what we may be seeing once the SEC gets their hands on some of these coins, right? Once they officially mark some of these coins as STOs, and they say this is the way forward, this is an STO, you're going to have to register it to use this token or whatever you're going to do. Once the SEC goes full force with that, if that comes through, I think this is what we'll see with already pre-existing coins, right? Right now, it's just with Enjin. It's a gaming coin. But the same way the Ripple XRP is in the lawsuit with the SEC, if they were to come out and say, hey, XRP is good in our book, you can start listing it on exchanges, that coin would jump another 50 to 70% within a few hours. So this is important to look at, because as more government intervention occurs, as more regulation occurs, the coins that went out from those regulators and from that intervention may be the ones to actually be your best investment. Not necessarily the best projects, but just the best coins because they won out because of government intervention, right? It doesn't matter how good a project is if they have to go against the SEC and the IRS and every other government regulator out there every week, and they don't have time to actually work on their project or launch their project. We saw the government cripple Kick. We saw many governments try to cripple Telegram, when essentially they were all just placing up all these different layers and blocks to stop people from onboarding it, stop people from downloading these apps, and stop people from using it. But of course, since everything is semi-open source and free, people are still downloading and using these things. But again, I think this is a good story because it will show what will happen when a coin, whether it's here in the United States or overseas, gets approved by some sort of regulatory commission. So again, something to pay attention to, especially with this XRP lawsuit. There's some people, looking at the price of Ripple, who clearly still believe they will survive this lawsuit. And again, this shows what happens if you get regulatory approval. But on the flip side, if you don't get it, I think that can mean the death of your coin. So something to pay attention to. What's going on, Somo Vid? KB NYC, Marcellus Love. Hey. Good morning. Kevin Jarvis, hey, appreciate that. Yeah, much appreciated. Something else I want to actually point out too, as we talk about regulatory approval. I know everyone always asks about how do we pay Bitcoin taxes and all this other stuff. And I just wanted to motivate you all this 2021, this first quarter. I wanted to motivate you as far as when it comes to paying Bitcoin taxes or following any regulatory guidelines in the crypto space. Just remember that the president that a lot of people just hated for the last 4 years just freed a lot of homies, and all of a sudden everybody loved him. Now, regardless, I'm not going to get into who he freed. It was some real criminals and some real gangsters in that bunch of people. But what I will say is, after seeing what's been going on in the Capitol and these pardons and commutations, again, it makes me less motivated to try to find all these regulatory rules and guidelines they are creating out of thin air to apply to people in the crypto space. I mean, people literally look at this list of commutations and pardons. I'm talking about some real gangsters. Oh, shout out Detroit, Kwame Kilpatrick. Yeah, one of the reasons why nobody young can run for mayor right now. Shout out to him. I guess he just got released too. I know a lot of people in Detroit will be happy. I know a lot of other people in Detroit will not be happy. But he let out some real G's on this one, people. I am telling you now. So again, that motivates me to want to look into every crypto tax rule they have invented out the blue and follow every funny law that's being made on Wednesday nights and Friday nights that we don't find out about until the next morning. But hey, I know I'm crazy, people. That's just me. All right, next story up. A great news story, actually. Bitcoin node count hits new all-time high. Listen, if there was ever a hand clap, this is the hand clap of hand claps, people. Amid increasing distrust of custodial solutions and recent upgrades to Bitcoin Core, more Bitcoiners are starting to run their own nodes. If this is your first time watching, a Bitcoin node is just a computer or some type of tablet, something that usually a desktop computer at this point, because the Bitcoin blockchain is so large. But you can put it on a computer, laptop, or whatever. Is when you download the Bitcoin software client, is on your computer. You run the Bitcoin blockchain. You are now officially a node. Your node, while it may not be able to mine you a bunch of Bitcoin or whatever, it still helps in the process of this trustless system by allowing your node, your computer, to be one of 11,000 plus now, that if the Bitcoin network were to get hacked, someone would need to hack about 6,000 computers in different locations across the planet. Pretty difficult to do right now, and it will continue to be difficult to do in the future. As advancements are made in technology to crack it and exploit it, advancements will be made to stop that from happening. So the number of Bitcoin nodes is at an all-time high again, with 11,558 reachable nodes currently active, according to bitnodes.io. Again, hand clap for that. That means 11,500, at least 11,500. I won't say people, but again, there's at least 11,558 nodes that are active out there. Again, Bitcoin Network Statistics Tracker Coin.dance calculates the total number of Bitcoin nodes at 11,613, which is just above the previous high of 11,250 set 1 year ago this month. So again, slowly but steadily, it talks about the Bitcoin node software, how it's been updated, the Bitcoin core software, how it's been updated, who's running the updated ones. It looks like about 5,000 people are still running the second most current release. So everyone isn't up on the newest release, but that's kind of to be expected, especially with the changing of tides as new people enter the space, old people leave the market or whatever. But it's good to see people actually downloading the Bitcoin software, right? This is what's going to make it a trusted system. This is what's going to keep the system strong. Everyone downloading nodes. If you have free time, if you have a spare computer, if you want to just check out the Bitcoin blockchain, then download it. It's free to do. You can look at it all day and look at transactions coming from all around the world and learn a lot about blockchain software, blockchain, everything, and Bitcoin as well. So I think it's cool to see a lot of people are downloading the nodes. I think it's even better to see this is definitely a bullish sentiment. Just 400 more nodes than last year. Who knows who owns those nodes, what type of clients they are. So again, this is great news. And it shows that people are actually starting to become their own bank, right? They're not going to just trust the Coinbases from here on out. They're getting into the space, they're learning, and they're saying, okay, I think I can do this on my own. And they're starting to do it. So that was pretty cool to see. James, though, I remember that as well. Dash, almost 5,000 masternodes securing the network as well. Listen, those Dash masternodes used to get you paid pretty well, if I remember, but I know it hasn't been the same for a couple years now. What's going on, Harold George, Bruce Biggs, Brown Brugita, James Doe, Morning, Rashu. But yeah, again, this is a good thing to see. People are actually learning about the technology. And this is the stuff that you might not see reflected in price immediately, but as time goes on, you certainly will, because again, the more people who run nodes, I think those are the people who are switching over to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Maybe not full time right now, but they plan to be in it for the long term, especially if you're going to, it takes like 2 days to download a Bitcoin software core now. I think about 48 hours almost to do it. So definitely takes a lot of time and commitment. With all of these new nodes, though, another cool article, Crypto Winter. Bitcoiners use mining rigs as heaters as temperatures drop. Bitcoiners have been using the excess heat produced by their mining rigs to stay warm this season. This might be why everybody's downloading the nodes, right? Joking, but seriously, this could be one of the ideas of the future, where instead of paying for traditional heat, those who do run Bitcoin miners or have some type of mining facility going on, they can either redistribute the heat from the Bitcoin machines, or if you actually have it in your own home, you can use it, which is what some people actually talked about. According to the Wall Street Journal, crypto miners in France and the United States report their overall heating costs have dropped, even if the temperature in their home often gets far above what they prefer. Thomas Smith, a photographer based in California, has been using mining rigs to heat his home since at least 2019. He's also been exploring some novel uses, including employing the miners to warm up his 2 chickens in the outdoor coop and to grow tomatoes in his greenhouse as temperatures started plunging at night. So again, this is pretty cool to see. Now, of course, everyone won't be able to do this because I'm assuming it would take a decent amount of mining rigs, probably about at least 10 of them, to heat a small space, a small room, whatever, about 7 or 10. But if you are mining, again, we know the electricity costs are sometimes crazy. This could be a way to offset it. If you live in one of these colder places, all my people up in the Midwest and Michigan, the Northeast and New Yorks, or even the Southwest, Seattle's, Vancouver's up there in the Canada. But for all of those in those cold climates, this may be the move, right? You get about 6 or 7 mining machines. We know you're not going to make a lot mining Bitcoin. All right, that's already out of the picture. Maybe you mine something else. But with that excess electricity and heat, you can actually heat your own room or heat the house or whatever. I think that's a pretty cool idea. And again, when we talk about these mega mining facilities starting to pop up, what will happen if we could redistribute that heat across the grid somehow? So again, just another good use of cryptocurrency, this time it being from mining machines. Again, here's a guy here. It's talking about his greenhouse is 24 cubic feet. So putting in all the heat from my cryptocurrency mining computer would increase its temperature by around 40 degrees. That is a lot. 40 degrees. Even in the dead of winter, with a nighttime temperature of 45 degrees, that would still push my tomatoes to their 85-degree limit. That is crazy, people. But again, I can believe it because this has been one of those common complaints when it comes to mining, right? How do you cool it? We were talking about Texas creating that mining facility that's supposed to be like one of the largest in the United States. Who knows if that plan is actually going forward? But one of the issues we saw that might pop up is that, hey, Texas is a hot state, right? You know, you don't have winter there, at least not like a natural winter. So the air conditioning costs to keep those servers cool would be interesting, right? Well, if you're going to put these, again, if you put these in New York's and Michigan's and some of these colder climate places, then that might not be an issue, especially the electricity costs might not be the same either if it's being redistributed as heat. So who knows, right? Somebody's always figuring out the next big thing in crypto. That may be it. I know, was it Power, was it POWR? I think the ticker symbol was. The Australian company was essentially using some of the Australian power and trying to put that on a token. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly what the project was doing, but I know this kind of goes into it. So another investment out there to take a peek at. Yes, Harold George, that is an innovation in the space. Now, this was an interesting story here, people. When I first heard this story and I saw this coin name, I was curious. I haven't seen this coin before. It went across my radar. And then I saw the original name, and it went right back to the story we talked about recently of the rebrand, of how every 2 to 3 years, sometimes because of a scam, sometimes because of a failed project, sometimes because of whatever, but a lot of companies in this space, a lot of projects rebrand. This is one of those projects, and I wonder why they rebranded. But it looks like privacy-focused FIRO cryptocurrency suffers a 51% attack. For those who don't know what a 51% attack is, that is when the network gets hacked. That's why it's important for everyone to download those nodes. How I just said, the Bitcoin node downloads, or people who use it right now, or the amount of nodes out there are 11,000, about 400. Then again, it will take almost about 6,000 of those nodes to be hacked for that 51% attack to happen and for Bitcoin blockchain to be hacked. Something that's highly unlikely and improbable to happen. However, some blockchains don't have 11,400 nodes or the 5,000 dash nodes that was alluded to. Some might only have 600, 700, 500, 30, right? I don't know the number on this, but it looks like here over 300 blocks were rolled back in the course of a 51% attack. Again, what a 51% attack does, you can take over 51% of the network, and once you have control of the network, you can essentially go back in time through all the blocks of what's been spent and double spend that amount, thus making some of the future blocks and it doesn't matter. It makes them unimportant and inoperable because it's money there that's saying that's supposed to be there that's actually been spent, right? Or the money won't even be there since it's been spent. But anonymous cryptocurrency FIRO, formerly known as Zcoin. If you heard of Zcoin, they are around the block in 2017 trying to make a run for the #1 privacy coin out there. Of course, going against Zcash, going against Monero, some of the more popular ones. But I do remember Zcoin being around, and I never knew they rebranded to FIRO. But tweeting on Wednesday, FIRO revealed that the protocol had come under a 51% attack and advised holders to pause all transactions until the network returns to a normal state. We are under a 51% attack at the moment. We recommend not to make transactions during this time until the network returns to a normal state. We will post updates when we have them. Note, this is not a coding error, but a nature of POW. This is not a drill, people. The attack reportedly came to light when users reported that previously confirmed transactions had become unconfirmed. This was apparently the result of a blockchain reorganization attack initiated by the attacker. Now, again, a lot of this information is still coming out, so who knows what will be factual and incorrect at the end of the day. But according to Binance CZ, the blockchain reorg resulted in the rollback of 306 blocks. And again, some of the main things about this, the exchanges are the ones that are lost. As you can see, the attacker had deposited funds, which have now been reversed because of the 51% attack. And they're working with exchanges to resolve the matter. Now, this is unfortunate. And this is also why, you know, you have to watch out what projects you get involved in and what exchanges you actually use with those projects on. Who knows how this happened? Again, I'm sure More information will come out. But again, what was really interesting to me was to see the rebrand of them to go from Zcoin to Firo. And you keep seeing their ticker symbol was XZC to FIRO. And after a 51% attack, your coin is essentially dead in the water, right? Your project is dead in the water. It's one of those things where, I get it. If an airplane goes down, they say it's the safest time to ride the plane of that service is the next day because they're doing everything more important, right? But realistically, if a plane goes down, no one's going to ride that airline service for a while. So it's kind of the same here. It's just, again, I highly doubt Firo has some huge community behind it, because if they did, they probably wouldn't have got a 51% attack. But even if they do, this is another one of those projects and another one of those coins where I would have to look at myself and say, hey, there's so many other projects out there that never had a 51% attack. Why would I continue to look at this? And even further, I'm pretty sure they're going to rebrand for a third time. And it's just like, I don't even want to deal with a team that's rebranded 3 times in the last few years. Especially when the crypto market hasn't had that much attention. We've had a lot of regulatory attention in 2018. We had some retail attention in 2017. And then in 2020, we had the institutional and big accredited organizations interest, right? But by and large, there's more projects. Nobody's paying attention to this. And I think they're dead in the water. We'll see what the rebrand is next time, though. I'm sure they got something up their sleeve. Crypto Sovereign said, just to be clear, though, King, the miners don't necessarily validate the transactions on the blockchain. They're merely mined for the cryptocurrency. Most miners don't have the full blockchain. That is very true as well, which is why no one can compete with the mining pools. And just to throw it out there, too, I do try to keep things as rudimentary as possible because there are a lot of first-time users. So even if I kind of get into the technical details, a lot of people are just going to be staring at this screen blank. Let's see. Boeing 737 MAX discount flight prices, maybe not, right? Let's see. Thank you for that. Yeah, the current size of the Bitcoin blockchain is sitting roughly at 500 gigabytes. Woo! Yes, so that is a big download. I'm not sure what most computers come with right now. I'm looking at my Mac to look at the storage. This is my old Mac Pro. And yes, it comes with 500 gigs, my old Mac Pro. So that would essentially take up my entire laptop if I were to do it on my laptop. But in other places, again, that's why a lot of people are using desktops or, of course, hard drives as well. There we go. Crypto Q. Hey, 5,000 subs, people. There we go. Halfway there. We know the goal right now, the short-term goal for this year is 10,000 subs. It looks like we just put on 1,000 essentially in the last 5 or 6 weeks. So shout out to that. All right. Janet Yellen is yelling on her way out. That is right. Janet Yellen said cryptocurrencies are a concern in terrorist financing. People, I have to talk about these stories because I told you the narrative is starting to shift. This is the next big thing for Bitcoin. This is the next battle for it. 2020 was the battle of banks and Wall Street. Cryptocurrency won, but banks are going down quietly. They say we'll be back late 2021, 2022 with our CBDCs and our own rollout plan. But in the meantime, while we're trying to work on that to combat Bitcoin with an actual competitor, we're going to try to kill it with the FUD narrative, right? It says here the U.S. should examine how it can curtail the use of crypto for illicit financing, the former Fed chair said. People, she's not even in the chair no more, and she's saying this, which means she is talking for the Fed itself. She is letting everyone know their thoughts about what's going on in the meeting room, right? Cryptocurrencies are a particular concern when it comes to terrorist financing, potential Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said on Tuesday. Oh my goodness, what did I tell you, people? Out the Fed one day, into the Treasury the next day. I don't know how this is legal at all. Out of a private company one day that deals with the money of the government, into the actual purse of the government the next day. There's probably not going to be any conflicting interest there, right? I'm sure she's going to do everything on the up and up, especially since she's coming with an objective point of view already. Speaking at a Senate Finance Committee hearing on her anticipated nomination after President-elect Joe Biden takes office tomorrow, Yellen said the U.S. should be aware of emerging tools for terrorist financing. The technologies to accomplish this change over time, and we need to make sure that our methods for dealing with these matters with tech terrorist financing change along with changing technology. Cryptocurrencies are a particular concern, she said in response to a question by Senator Maggie Hassan, who called crypto use in terrorist financing a growing concern. This was crazy about the story. You have a senator who you essentially work with the Fed, the Treasury, senators, Congress, they're all in the same room. You have a senator who already is saying to Janet Yellen, hey, we think cryptocurrency might be used in terrorist financing. What do you think? And she's like, I'm trying to be the treasurer of the United States. You're a senator and you're telling me you think cryptocurrency might be used in terrorist financing. Well, I'm trying to get this job. I think it might be used in terrorist financing too. That's what we're doing today. If that's what it takes, right? So it's one of those things where it's like you're asking a question, but like you're saying in one of those things like, today's a good day, huh? Yeah. Like, yeah, you're going to agree with me. Today's a bad day, huh? Whatever. It's just like, no, don't give any information. Just ask, how's the day today? Let Janet give her answer, but instead the senator is trying to feed her the right answer. Like, hey, this terrorist financing is becoming a growing concern, right? This is crazy, people. This is fake news. This is FUD. You can see here, again, this senator saying, I think many cryptocurrencies are used, at least in transaction sense, mainly for illicit financing. And I think we really need to examine the ways in which we curtail their use and make sure that anti-money laundering doesn't occur through these channels, Yellen said Tuesday. Again, you're going up for Treasury Secretary. You just left the Fed, and you are saying, this, to me, this is market manipulation. This should be illegal right here. You're saying, at least in a transaction sense, cryptocurrency is mainly used for illicit financing. It's already been debunked. We talk about it all the time. Less than 2% of all transactions are illicit in the cryptocurrency space. So again, for them to be using this as fact now is crazy. Now they're not even saying maybe. They're using it as fact. Mainly, and again, I think. She said I think. You're the Treasury. You're supposed to be going up for the Secretary of the Treasury. You were just the Fed chair. Why are you thinking? You don't have the resources to have analysts analyze this for you? Or do you have the resources? You saw what the answer was. You didn't like the answer, and you just said, no, that don't work for me. I'm just going to say I think and go along with that information. I don't need the Fed chair. I don't need the Secretary of the Treasury to be thinking. I need you to have the data, have the information to make the appropriate decision. I don't need you off your spare time to say I think, especially when your thoughts are way off the mark. They are literally saying, again, in 2021, while MicroStrategy is buying up $400-800 million of cryptocurrency, while companies are buying into MicroStrategy to buy up crypto, you got JP Morgan on it. You have Chase Bank, or excuse me, not Chase. You got Wells Fargo on it. Bank of America has all these patents. You have all these different banks, venture capital funds going after cryptocurrency, and at the same time, you're saying it's mainly being used for illicit financing. Well, if that's true, then that also goes along the lines and the narrative we already know that Wall Street's a bunch of crooks, because that's who's been using it the last year, right? And last but not least, again, this is like beating a dead horse if you saw this show before. But the United States dollar is what's used for the most illicit financing across the planet. There is still nothing more anonymous, more quicker to use, easier to launder than the dollar. You cannot do that with Bitcoin still like that. And the only other cryptocurrencies people will kind of try to dabble will be like the Moneros, the Zcashes, and maybe once upon a time the Z coins or the Firos, right? Or the Firos. But by and large, cryptocurrencies are not used mainly for illicit financing. And it's unfortunate that we have senators and possibly the next Secretary of the Treasury still having that same sentiment. Now, with that being said, this is what scares me. This is what makes it weird as an investor or someone that does business in the crypto space, is because, again, from the technical side of things, Bitcoin makes sense. Cryptocurrency makes sense. Like, using it makes sense. It can be used. People have transferred, like everything. It works. It works, right? But it doesn't matter if it works. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. When you have someone who just came from a private company that runs all the fiat currency, not only in America, but on the planet, is now going to the government chair that she's going to be in charge of all the money now in the United States. Do you understand how much power you have when that is? What's the show called? Boardwalk Empire. The guy who played in Boardwalk Empire, Nicky, I forgot the actor's name, but he was the main character. And at many points throughout the show, he was basically like the treasurer of Atlantic City or whatever, New Jersey. He was a treasurer, and it showed how much power he can wield. People, you control the money. You control the purse strings. She just left the Fed, and she's about to be the treasurer. She controls so much stuff. I mean, you really think she walks in the room and says, I want X, Y, and Z done. I want this person commuted. I want these things done. It doesn't happen. Of course it's going to happen. She controls the money. She's about to control the United States money. So when that happens, it kind of scares me again as an investor, because it's like your sentiment is already that you don't like cryptocurrency, and you're putting this narrative out that is going to be used for terrorist activities, which I've said on many times, that's going to be the next war. That's going to be the next narrative. Bitcoin is used to fund a terrorist activity. And they're starting this narrative. And again, as an investor, knowing what's coming down the pike with regulators and regulations, you can already see they're not going to be courteous to anybody in cryptocurrency. So again, make sure you're paying attention to these news stories, because we can wake up on Thursday morning, and if you don't got that registered government Yellen wallet, then Bitcoin's illegal, right? Who knows? Let's look at some of these comments. Let's see. James Doe said, like it does when they control the dollar. We need the money launderer of the world to control our finances, right? Right. I wouldn't be surprised. 9/11 was paid with Bitcoin. They'll come back and say something crazy, people. PFC Wells up Trek said, I got this job. Another person talking about something they don't know about. So how much does she really know about traditional money instruments, since she's pushing the talking points? Exactly. My thing is, you're talking about money. It's so cut and dry. We're talking about numbers. You don't have to say, I think, at any point. You could literally say, hey, the data says this, the poll says it's numbers. We could track it. So I have no clue why she's starting off any sentence with I think. Thank you, Wire Sparks. Nucky Thompson, played by Steve Buscemi. Great show, Boardwalk Empire. But my point was, he was a treasurer of Atlantic City, New Jersey. And of course it's TV, so the hyperbole is there. But still, if you actually look into the history of some of the things he did as a treasurer and some of the things he was allowed to get away with, I am very sure from what I've seen at different levels, the people who control the money have some type of wiggle room to get things they want. Yeah, James Doe, exactly. That's my point. James Doe said all terrorism will stop once they control crypto. That's why it's crazy. This whole thing is going to be crazy once they try to make Bitcoin the reason why terrorism happens or whatever. It's going to be like, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is the reason why criminals and terrorists are being financed. That will be the talking point. And my only question when that happens is going to be, well, what were people using before that? What were the terrorists doing before? Like literally 3 weeks ago, before Bitcoin and cryptocurrency became mainly used for illicit activities, what were people using illicit activities doing before that? So I don't believe it. The market is not big enough to show that cryptocurrency is mainly being used by criminals. Because if it worked that well for criminals, like the word would travel fast. I mean, do you not remember crack cocaine in the 80s or whatever? Do you not remember the opium heroin addiction that's going on right now? It spreads fast. Criminals aren't going to say, oh, I don't want to get money that way. No, they do want to get money. So if cryptocurrency was mainly used for illicit activities, that will be the thing. It would like cash would disappear overnight. But the truth is that it is not being used for illicit activities. That is a FUD narrative. All right, last but not least, ending on a great news story, Rick and Morty. There we go. For those who are Rick and Morty fans, Rick and Morty crypto art sells for $150,000 on Gemini-owned platform. That's right. Justin Roiland's piece was listed on a non-fungible token art exchange owned by Gemini. First, want to definitely shout out Bitcoin Zay on this one, because I have seen him talk to many artists throughout the years. And we've even been to like try to go to some art places where we're like, hey, you know, you can put a QR code in your art piece where people can take pictures and tip you with using, you know, cryptocurrency or whatever, or trying to put your art on a blockchain and selling it, NFT tokens and all that. So he's had this idea he talked about for a while. So it's good to see people are actually utilizing this in the space. And by no means is he the first or last. I mean, most of the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin events, if you've ever been to an actual event, a lot of people sell art there. So art in the crypto community has been merged for a while, and it's always good to see. And here we see Rick and Morty coming on over to the party. And again, Rick and Morty being a huge show, this is good for mainstream adoption. A crypto art piece by Justin Roiland, co-creator of the famous animated series Rick and Morty, has sold for a handsome price on non-fungible token marketplace Nifty Gateway. Dubbed the first ever edition of Rick and Morty crypto art, the tokenized artwork was sold at a silent auction for $150,000. Nifty Gateway announced the news on Twitter yesterday. Again, this is the artwork too. That's pretty cool. An original Rick and Morty stenciled drawing, it looks to be. Again, if you follow the show, cool to see this. Again, this was comes best about this story is, first of all, letting people in the art community know that you can actually do this, that you can put your art somewhat on a blockchain, or at least list it on a non-fungible token and have it sold that way. You can actually put QR codes in your art piece, receive tips that way. But the most important thing is that, again, technology is here. It's coming. We're about to digitize art, the way we tip with art, the way we buy art, the way we do things with art. And I think this is pretty cool, especially when it comes to stolen art pieces, right? Unless a piece is going to be stolen and switched out at this point, hopefully you can put these on a NFT. You can have them as a non-fungible token. You can track the piece. You can always make sure it's a valid piece of art. It's accurate to what people say they are. And yeah, hopefully more people will use it, right? S1 Dubs. Okay, S1 Dubs is talking about the terrorist narrative, saying the problem is that simple false flags can be used to sway public opinion as it relates to crypto. That is what they are banking on for sure. Let's see. Yemi O said, if someone wanted to set Bitcoin for payments of merchandise on a website and services, what would be the best way to do that legally? No, there's plenty of places to do that. I think Coin does it. If you're actually looking for places, Coin, BitPay are my first two off the top of my head that allows you to accept cryptocurrency for services. And I think actually BitPay probably does something where they can actually do the taxes as well to send to the government for you. All right, Madam Crypto, there we go. Yeah, Madam Crypto is in art for sure. Shout out to Madam Crypto. I forgot I've seen some Madam Crypto art in the past. Check her out. I need to put my art collection on the blockchain for future sales. That is right. And make sure you can drop a link here at our next show, Madam Crypto, and we'll repost that link as well. KB NYC said we should holler at Nathaniel Mary Quinn. Set it up. Let us know. We are always down to talk to more people in the crypto space. Fumble the Face said the mega wealthy are buying Bitcoin. Is not going to be banned, right? I agree with that, which is crazy to see Yellen put the illicit activity thing out there when there's nothing but billionaires buying crypto right now. There we go. Harold George said, Dinos. I wonder how she felt about that $1 billion Coke boat JP Morgan had. That's what I want to know. I mean, again, they should open up Twitter at these minutes. Hey, whatever Twitter question pop up, you got to take it. I don't care what it says. Because I'm sure someone would ask that, like, hey, we get it. Crypto for bad guys. Yeah. But what happened to all the cocaine? It was in the news for one day and then disappeared. Who wants to know about the JP Morgan cocaine? I do. Yemi O, thanks for the tip. Thank you for the tip. All right, and last but not least, I would say Crypto Sovereign's comment said, consider using the Bitcoin Pay server. Real easy to set up, and you can set Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ether, on-chain, or through the Lightning Network. That is right, and also our in-house moderator, Alec G, he's working on some cool stuff with the server as well. When he's ready to talk about that, we'll talk more about it, but he just actually recently told me about the Bitcoin Pay server. I haven't used it myself enough, so I'm not going to throw that information out about myself using it. But he knows what he's talking about, and he said it's the real deal as well. So that might be something to look into. All right. Other than that, that is the show for today. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure you smash that like and share. And we will be back tomorrow with some more crypto news. Cheers.